Every day we wake up with a choice to live with intention or drift aimlessly, a choice to grow or stay stagnant. And while life often throws distractions our way, there are 8 simple questions that can anchor us, guide us, and ultimately define the kind of life we build. Purpose is not found, it's created. It's in the way we show up, the way we commit, the way we bring energy to the things that matter. Purpose isn't about grand moments. It's about daily intention. The most powerful currency isn't money, it's influence. Every interaction is an opportunity to lift someone up or pull them down. Be the person who lifts. The moment we stop learning, we start declining. Every experience, good or bad, holds a lesson. The question is, are we paying attention? Life will test us. That's a given. But the real question is, did we react emotionally or did we respond with wisdom? Growth comes not from avoiding struggle, but from how we navigate through it. Comfort is the enemy of progress. The greatest leaders, the most fulfilled people, are the ones who consistently push themselves beyond what feels safe. Dreams don't come true because we wish for them. They come true because we work for them. One step, one action, one decision at a time. We live in a world filled with distractions, but the most successful people are the ones who know how to be present, to listen deeply, to engage fully. Were you present today or just available? Fulfillment isn't found in applause, it's found in impact. It's in the moments where we give without expecting, where we serve without needing recognition. So tomorrow, when you wake up, ask yourself these 8 questions. They aren't just a checklist, they are a blueprint for a meaningful life. Because the quality of our lives isn't determined by what we achieve, it's determined by how we live every single day. Now let's start asking the right questions. Every morning, as we open our eyes to a new day, we are presented with an invisible choice. A choice that determines the trajectory of our lives, the fulfillment we experience, and the impact we have on those around us. But too often, we move through our days without consciously making that choice. We follow routines, respond to obligations, and react to the world around us without pausing to ask the one question that can change everything. Am I living with purpose? This question isn't just about the grand, world-changing kind of purpose we often associate with leaders, visionaries, or historical figures. It's about the deeply personal sense of meaning that fuels our actions, shapes our relationships, and defines our contribution to the world. Purpose is not something we stumble upon, it's something we cultivate. It's not a destination, but a way of being, a way of showing up in the world with intention and clarity. But here's the challenge. Many of us are waiting for the perfect moment to define our purpose, waiting for inspiration to strike, waiting for someone to tell us what we are meant to do. And in that waiting, we lose precious time. Because purpose isn't something that appears fully formed in a flash of insight. It's something we build step by step through our choices, our actions, and our commitment to something greater than ourselves. Think about the most fulfilled people you know. They are not necessarily the richest, the most famous, or the most accomplished. They are the ones who have a reason to get up in the morning that extends beyond themselves. They are the ones who have clarity about what truly matters to them and align their lives accordingly. They have asked themselves the hard questions, not just once, but repeatedly. So, what does it mean to live with purpose every day? It means waking up and making a conscious decision to direct your energy towards something meaningful. It means not just going through the motions, but engaging with life in a way that reflects your values and your aspiration. Purpose is not reserved for those with grand missions. It is available to all of us in every moment, in every choice we make. Consider this. 2 people can have the same job, the same responsibilities, and yet experience completely different levels of fulfillment. One sees their work as a series of tasks to get through. The other sees it as an opportunity to make an impact, to grow, to contribute something meaningful. The difference? Purpose. The first person is merely surviving the day. The second is fully engaged with it. When we don't live with purpose, we drift. We fill our time with distractions. We chase success in a way that often leaves us empty. We look for validation in places that can never truly fulfill us. We measure our worth based on external achievements rather than the depth of our commitment to something that truly matters. But when we do live with purpose, everything changes. Our days have meaning. Our struggles have context. Even the mundane tasks of life take on a greater significance because we see them as part of a bigger picture. And here's something important. Purpose is not about what you do, it's about why you do it. Some of the most purposeful people in the world are not the ones with the most glamorous titles or the biggest platform. They are the ones who bring intention to whatever they do. The teacher who sees every lesson as an opportunity to shape a young mind. The nurse who treats every patient with dignity and care. The entrepreneur who isn't just building a business, but building something that adds value to others. Living with purpose means asking yourself, why am I doing this? Not just once, but every single day. It means checking in with yourself to make sure you are not just moving, but moving in the right direction. And yes, purpose can evolve. What drives us at one stage in life may shift over time, but the key is to stay connected to it, to be intentional about the choices we make, and to ensure that what we do aligns with what truly matters to us. Many people think they need to have their purpose completely figured out before they can start living it. But that's a myth. Purpose is not something you find, it's something you uncover through action. The best way to discover your purpose is to start doing things that matter to you, to engage in work that feels meaningful, to serve in ways that make a difference. Clarity comes from movement, not from waiting. There's a simple way to test if you are living with purpose. Look at your calendar. Look at your to-do list. Look at how you spend your time. Does it reflect the things that truly matter to you? Or is it filled with obligations that you have accepted without question? Are you actively creating a life that excites you, or are you passively going through the motions? Because the truth is, every single day we are making choices, whether we realize it or not. The question is whether those choices are leading us toward a life of meaning or away from it. Living with purpose doesn't mean every day will be easy. It doesn't mean you won't have doubts or setbacks. But it does mean that even on the hardest days, you have a reason to keep going. Because purpose is what gives struggle meaning. It's what turns challenges into lessons, failures into stepping stones, and work into something more than just a way to make a living. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need to wait for a big moment to start living with purpose. You can start today, right now, by making small choices that align with what truly matters to you, by bringing intention to the way you interact with others, by focusing not just on what you do, but on why you do it. Every single day we interact with people. Some we know well, some we may never see again, but in every exchange, whether it lasts a second or an hour, we leave something behind, a feeling, an impression, an energy. The question is, are we making a positive impact, or are we simply moving through our days without thinking about the effect we have on others? Too often we focus on what we get from people rather than what we give. We measure our days based on our own achievements, our own progress, and our own challenges. But what if instead we started measuring our days based on the impact we had on others? What if the true measure of success wasn't just what we accomplished, but how we made people feel? Every day, we have an opportunity to be a source of encouragement, of kindness, of inspiration. We have the power to make someone's day better or worse just by how we show up. And the truth is, it doesn't take much. A word of appreciation, a moment of genuine listening, a small act of kindness. These are the things that stay with people long after the conversation ends. Think about the last time someone made you feel truly seen, truly valued. Maybe it was a friend who took the time to check in on you when they didn't have to. Maybe it was a colleague who recognized your hard work when no one else did. Maybe it was a stranger who smiled at you on a tough day, reminding you that there is still kindness in the world. These moments are small, but they matter. They remind us that we are connected, that we are not alone, that what we do and say has weight. Now think about the opposite. The last time someone dismissed you, ignored you, or made you feel invisible. It doesn't feel good. And yet, how often do we do the same thing without realizing it? How often do we get so caught up in our own thoughts, our own worries, our own goals, that we forget to acknowledge the people around us? The impact we have on others is not determined by grand gestures. It is shaped by the little things we do consistently. The way we speak to the barista who makes our coffee. The patience we show with a stressed out coworker. The attention we give to a loved one when they need us most. These moments are the true test of our character, and they define the kind of person we are becoming. It's easy to think that influence is reserved for leaders, for people in positions of power, for those with large audiences, but the reality is every single person has influence. You do. I do. The question is not whether we have an impact. It's what kind of impact we choose to have. There's a story about a teacher who asked her students to write down one kind thing about each person in the class. She collected the papers, compiled the responses, and handed them back. What happened next was remarkable. Some students cried, others smiled, but the one thing they all realized was this: they mattered more than they thought. People had noticed the little things about them, the kindness they showed, the way they made others feel. Years later, some of those students kept those papers, folded and worn, as reminders that their presence in the world made a difference. It wasn't about their grades, their achievements, or their social status. It was about the way they impacted the people around them. Imagine if we all lived like that. If we took the time to recognize the good in others, if we made it a habit to lift people up rather than tear them down. Imagine if, instead of focusing on what people could do for us, we focused on how we could serve them. The world would look different, our relationships would feel different, and we ourselves would feel different, because the truth is, when we focus on making a positive impact, we are the ones who benefit the most. There is something deeply fulfilling about knowing that we made someone's day better, even in a small way. It shifts our perspective, it takes us out of our own struggles, and reminds us that we are part of something bigger. It doesn't mean we have to be perfect. There will be days when we are tired, distracted, or overwhelmed. But even on those days, we can still choose to be kind. We can still choose to acknowledge others. We can still choose to leave a positive mark. The best part? It doesn't take much effort. A simple text message to a friend who's been struggling. A genuine compliment to someone who rarely gets recognized. A few minutes of undivided attention in a world that is constantly pulling us in 1,000 directions. These things are small, but they have power. And here's what happens when we make a habit of focusing on our impact. It comes back to us. When we lift others up, we create a culture of support, of encouragement, of positivity. We build stronger relationships. We attract better energy. We become the kind of person that others want to be around. Not because we are perfect, but because we are intentional about how we make people feel. So tomorrow, as you go through your day, ask yourself, did I make a positive impact on someone today? If the answer is yes, keep going. If the answer is no, change it. Because the most important thing we leave behind each day is not our accomplishments, our titles, or our possessions. It's the way we made people feel. And that is a legacy worth building. Every day presents an opportunity to grow, to learn, to become just a little bit better than we were yesterday. Yet too often we go through our days on autopilot, doing what we've always done, responding to the world as we always have. We fall into routines, into habits, into patterns that feel comfortable and familiar. And while there is nothing inherently wrong with routine, the real question is, are we learning? Are we growing? Are we becoming more? Life is not static. The world around us is changing every moment, and if we are not actively learning, we are falling behind. But learning is not just about reading books, attending lectures, or acquiring new skills, although those things matter. Learning is about the mindset we bring to each day. It's about the way we engage with challenges, the way we reflect on our experiences, the way we seek to understand the world and ourselves a little better. Think about the last time you truly learned something. Not just memorized a fact or gained a new piece of information, but truly learned something that changed the way you see the world. Maybe it was a mistake you made that taught you a valuable lesson. Maybe it was a conversation that opened your mind to a new perspective. Maybe it was a moment of struggle that forced you to grow in ways you didn't expect. Learning is not just about accumulating knowledge, it's about transformation. But here's the challenge. Learning requires humility. It requires us to admit that we don't know everything. It requires us to be open to new ideas, to new perspectives, to new ways of thinking. And that is not always easy. We like to feel certain. We like to believe we have things figured out. But the moment we believe we have nothing left to learn is the moment we stop growing. The most successful, the most fulfilled, the most impactful people in the world all have one thing in common. They are relentless learners. They don't just accept what they already know. They constantly seek to expand their understanding. They ask questions. They challenge their own beliefs. They surround themselves with people who push them to think differently. And the best learners are not just those who seek knowledge from traditional sources. They learn from everything. They learn from success, but more importantly, they learn from failure. They learn from the people they admire, but also from the people who challenge them. They learn from books, from experiences, from observation, from reflection. They understand that every single day offers a lesson, if they are paying attention. But many of us go through life without paying attention. We repeat the same mistakes. We ignore the lessons that life tries to teach us. We resist change because change is uncomfortable. And so, instead of growing, we stay stuck. Instead of evolving, we stagnate. The question is, how do we break free from that? How do we ensure that we are learning every single day? It starts with curiosity, a willingness to ask questions, to explore, to seek understanding. It means approaching life with the mindset that everyone and everything has something to teach us. The person we disagree with, they have a perspective that can challenge us. The mistake we made, it holds a lesson we need to learn. The challenge we are facing, it is shaping us in ways we may not yet see. When we believe we already know, we stop listening. When we feel the need to always be right, we miss opportunities to grow. But when we let go of that, when we embrace the fact that we are always a work in progress, we unlock our true potential. Imagine if at the end of each day you asked yourself one simple question: what did I learn today? Imagine if instead of just going through the motions, you took a moment to reflect, to extract a lesson, to ensure that no day was wasted. Because the truth is, every experience has value if we take the time to learn from it. A difficult conversation can teach us about communication. A failure can teach us about resilience. A moment of discomfort can teach us about our own limits and how to push past them. The difference between those who grow and those who stay the same is not intelligence, it is not talent, it is not luck. The difference is mindset. Those who grow are the ones who are willing to learn from everything. And here's something powerful. The more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know. The greatest minds in history, the most brilliant thinkers, the most successful leaders, they all had one thing in common. They never stopped learning. They never reached a point where they said, I know enough. They remained students of life until the very end. So what about you? When was the last time you truly challenged yourself to learn something new? When was the last time you stepped outside of your comfort zone and embraced the unknown? Learning is not just something we do in school. It is not just something we do when it is convenient. It is something we must commit to every single day for the rest of our lives. And the best part? Learning changes everything. It makes us better leaders, better thinkers, better friends, better human beings. It allows us to see the world with greater depth, to navigate challenges with greater wisdom, to connect with others on a deeper level. So tomorrow when you wake up, make it a goal to learn something. It doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't have to be something dramatic. It just has to be something that moves you forward. A lesson, a realization, a new perspective. Because the moment we stop learning, we stop growing. And the moment we stop growing, we stop truly living. So ask yourself, what did I learn today? And if you don't have an answer, go find one. Life has a way of testing us. It doesn't send a warning. It doesn't ask if we're ready. It just happens. The challenge, the setback, the unexpected obstacle, the moment of doubt, they show up unannounced. And how we handle them defines who we are. Some people crumble under pressure, letting adversity dictate their lives. Others rise, not because they are stronger or smarter, but because they have developed a mindset that refuses to break. The question is, which type of person do we want to be? Every single day we encounter situations that test our patience, our resilience, and our ability to navigate the unpredictable. Some of these challenges are small, a disagreement at work, a delayed plan, a minor inconvenience. Others feel overwhelming, a major failure, a personal loss, a dream that seems to be slipping away. And in those moments, we have a choice. Do we react emotionally, or do we respond with intention? Do we let circumstances define us, or do we define how we handle them? There is a fundamental difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is impulsive. It's driven by emotion, by frustration, by fear. It's snapping at someone in anger, making a rash decision, or allowing a single moment of difficulty to ruin an entire day. Responding, on the other hand, is intentional, is taking a breath before speaking, considering the bigger picture and making choices based on who we want to be rather than how we feel in the moment. Think about the last time something didn't go your way. Maybe someone criticized you unfairly. Maybe you faced rejection. Maybe life threw a curveball that felt impossible to handle. In that moment, what did you do? Did you let the frustration take over, or did you take control of your response? Because that's what resilience is, not avoiding hardship, but mastering how we respond to it. Resilience is not just about surviving challenges, it's about using them to grow. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who have never failed. They are the ones who have failed repeatedly, but refuse to let failure define them. They have learned that setbacks are not the end of the road, they are part of the journey. Every great success story includes failure. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has faced obstacles that could have stopped them. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not luck or talent. It's mindset. It's the decision to keep going when things get hard. It's the belief that challenges are not roadblocks but stepping stones. But how do we develop that mindset? How do we train ourselves to respond rather than react, to rise rather than break? It starts with perspective. When something difficult happens, instead of asking, why me, ask, what is this teaching me? Every challenge holds a lesson. Every setback is an opportunity to grow. When we shift our perspective, we shift our power. It also requires emotional discipline. Our initial reaction to adversity is often frustration, anger, or fear. And while these emotions are natural, they don't have to control us. The ability to pause, to breathe, to step back and assess a situation before responding, that is one of the most powerful skills we can develop. Think about an athlete training for a competition. They don't just practice when they feel good. They push through exhaustion, through failure, through days when they want to quit. They understand that true strength isn't built when things are easy. It's built in the moments when everything feels impossible, but they keep going anyway. The same is true for mental resilience. We don't develop it by avoiding difficulty. We develop it by facing difficulty and choosing to rise. There will always be things we cannot control. The economy, the opinions of others, unexpected losses, difficult circumstances. These are part of life. But what we can control is how we respond. We can control our attitude, our actions, and our ability to see challenges as opportunities rather than limitations. And here's something important. Resilience doesn't mean pretending things don't hurt. It doesn't mean ignoring emotions or acting like nothing affects us. It means acknowledging the difficulty, feeling the pain, and still choosing to move forward. Strength is not about suppressing feelings. It's about learning to navigate them without letting them take over. Some of the strongest people you will ever meet are not the ones who have had easy lives. They are the ones who have faced hardship and refused to let it define them. They are the ones who have been knocked down but got back up, not because it was easy, but because they knew they had no other choice. Every day, life will test us in small ways. A frustrating interaction, an unexpected obstacle, a moment of doubt. And in those moments, we get to decide, will I react or will I respond? Will I let this define me or will I define how I handle it? These small moments shape us. They prepare us for the bigger challenges ahead. The truth is, our ability to handle difficulty determines our ability to succeed. Not because life ever gets easier, but because we get stronger. We become the kind of person who doesn't give up at the first sign of struggle. The kind of person who doesn't let a single failure erase years of effort. The kind of person who understands that resilience is not just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward. So tomorrow, when something challenges you, when frustration rises, when things don't go your way, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, am I reacting or am I responding? Choose to respond with strength, with clarity, with the mindset of someone who refuses to let circumstances dictate their life. Because in the end, it's not the challenges that define us. It's what we do with them. Every day we make choices, some big, some small. Some feel insignificant in the moment, while others carry more obvious weight. But what if we started paying closer attention to these choices? What if we asked ourselves, am I making decisions that align with my values? Too often we go through life making decisions based on convenience, pressure, or habit, without stopping to consider if those decisions truly reflect who we are and what we stand for. We say yes to things we don't really believe in. We follow paths that don't excite us. We compromise on what matters most because it feels easier in the moment. And over time, these seemingly small compromises add up, leading us further and further away from the life we actually want to live. But there is power in alignment. When our choices reflect our values, life feels different. We wake up with clarity. We move through our days with confidence. We experience a sense of integrity, knowing that who we are on the inside matches the way we show up in the world. And that kind of alignment is rare. Think about the people you respect most. Chances are they have one thing in common. They don't just talk about their values, they live by them. Their words and their actions are in sync. They don't change depending on the situation or the audience. They are the same person in private as they are in public. That kind of consistency builds trust, not just with others, but within themselves. Now think about the opposite. We've all met people who say one thing and do another. People who claim to value honesty, but bend the truth when it's convenient. People who talk about kindness, but treat others poorly when no one is watching. People who prioritize success over integrity, only to find themselves feeling empty when they achieve what they thought they wanted. The disconnect between what they say and what they do creates a sense of unease, not just in those around them, but within themselves. When we live out of alignment with our values, we feel it. We might not always be able to put it into words, but there's a subtle discomfort, a feeling that something isn't quite right. We second guess ourselves. We struggle to find true fulfillment. We start to wonder why, even when things look good on the outside, something still feels missing. But the good news is, we always have a choice. Every day we can choose to bring our decisions back into alignment with what truly matters to us. And it starts with one simple but powerful question. Does this choice reflect my values? It's easy to assume that big decisions, where to live, what career to pursue, who to spend our lives with, are the ones that define us. And while those decisions are important, it's the small everyday choices that shape our character, the way we treat the people around us, the way we respond to pressure, the way we hold ourselves accountable when no one else is watching. Because the truth is, integrity isn't built in grand moments. It's built in the tiny, ordinary moments that no one sees. It's built in the way we handle the difficult conversations, the way we stick to our principles when it's inconvenient, the way we choose honesty even when a lie would be easier. And here's the challenge. Staying aligned with our values is not always easy. There will be times when doing the right thing comes at a cost. There will be moments when standing by our principles means losing an opportunity, disappointing someone, or taking a more difficult path. But the alternative, compromising who we are, is far worse. When we sacrifice our values for short-term gain, we might win in the moment, but we lose in the long run. We lose trust, we lose self-respect, and we lose the ability to look at ourselves in the mirror with confidence. And no amount of success, money, or validation can make up for that loss. But when we choose integrity, when we make decisions that align with our values, even when it's hard, something powerful happens. We start to trust ourselves. We become people of substance, people whose words mean something, people who don't just follow the crowd, but stand firm in what they believe. So how do we ensure that our daily choices reflect our values? It starts with clarity. If we don't know what we stand for, it's easy to be swayed by external pressures. Taking time to define our core values, whether it's honesty, kindness, courage, or responsibility, gives us a framework for decision making. Then it requires awareness. Throughout the day, we can ask ourselves, is this choice a reflection of my values? Am I acting out of fear, or am I acting from a place of integrity? Am I saying yes to something that goes against what I truly believe? When we pause and ask these questions, we give ourselves the opportunity to course correct before making a decision we might regret. And most importantly, it takes commitment. Living in alignment with our values is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's choosing to be honest even when no one would know if we lied. It's standing up for what's right even when it's unpopular. It's doing what we believe in, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Because at the end of the day, our values are not just words on a page. They are the foundation of who we are. And every decision we make either strengthens that foundation or weakens it. So tomorrow, when faced with a choice, big or small, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, Does this choice reflect my values? And if the answer is no, have the courage to change it, because the way we live our values today determines the kind of person we become tomorrow. And that is a legacy worth building.